So I think today's topic is very interesting or intriguing in the sense that it's an indication of how stocks or asset classes gets into a reversal kind of a mode. So we've taken inverted head and shoulder pattern for the stock. Now, what is inverted head and shoulder pattern? The inverted head and shoulder pattern generally is a reversal pattern which indicates that the stock eventually finds a bottom for itself and starts to come back again into a breakout mode. That generally gels up very well if you see the pattern with volume moves. So, for example, this is the charts for Bajaj Auto where the stock forms after a rally, the stock forms a zone of correction consolidation. This is the left shoulder which the stock forms when it gets into a corrective phase, try to retest a particular trend line resistance or a zone for the stock prices, then gets back into a corrective wave where the stock manages to break past significantly below the previous lows, forms a bottom over here, gets back into a retest of the same trend line or a resistance which was retested in the previous attempt for the stock price when it managed to show the first signs of rally, and then the third successful attempt where the stock tries to come back again into a retest of the trend line, and this trend line is met with a higher set of volume breakout, and that's where we call it as a classical inverted head and shoulder pattern getting completed for the stock. Generally, this indicates that the stock forms a bottom as well as now starts to get back into a rally mode for itself. Very recently is where we saw the charts for Bajaj Auto getting into a breakout mode as well as rallying up higher. We look at a couple of other examples of how the inverted head and shoulder pattern gets formed into stock prices. Very recently we saw Asian Paints coming back into such a kind of a similar kind of a chart pattern where it formed a left shoulder, the stock forming a head over here, as well as the right shoulder getting into a breakout, and you see the sudden change in terms of volumes. The volume activity prior to that was very low, listless, and suddenly on the breakout of this inverted head and shoulder pattern, the stock gets into a high volume activity, and that substantiates the uptrend for the stock price. So that's a classical sign of how inverted head and shoulder pattern generally works out into the stock prices, and how this could probably be a zone of a reversal. Very recently is where we've seen Wipro getting back into a breakout or in formation of the inverted head and shoulder pattern, albeit it's a very contracted head and shoulder pattern, but the breakout for the stock is closer to the 530 mark where the stock is trading currently.
Alright, so that's something new that we've learned today in our Buy Now Sell Now Paathshaala special. There's inverted head and shoulder pattern. Thank you so much for that, Kunal, for teaching us something new. Even though we are back after the break, so we get to learn something new and interesting. But
if you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.